This kind of sums up what the Russian authorities have been trying to do after the Crocus City concert hall massacre. Blame Ukraine, blame the West. This extraordinary image is on the front page of Arguments and Facts. It says here, "We know the architects of the Crocus terrorist attack and who organised it. May they burn in hell. All this about Islamic State is rubbish. Let them tell this to each other." Who is them? Well, here we see, for example, Zelensky, Biden, Sunak and Johnson. And here a whole article alleging an American footprint in the Crocus tragedy, with arguments like, terrorism was the standard tool of the West for decades. Just to remind you, Islamic State has said it carried out the attack on the concert hall. There is no evidence of Ukraine or the West being involved. The front page of Komsomolskaya Pravda. In Ukraine, they were preparing to give the terrorists a hero's welcome, says FSB Director Alexander Bortnikov. And here he is saying that. When asked if he thinks the US, Britain and Ukraine are responsible for the attack, he replies, "We think so." Here's Mr. Bortnikov again in the government paper Rossiyskaya Gazeta, claiming the Ukrainian side has been involved in training militants in the Middle East. Now for some expert opinions. And it's very interesting which expert the Russian government paper turns to first for comment. George Galloway. It calls him former British MP, although he recently became an MP again. So what does this British MP say? That he believes the US, its NATO allies, and its puppet, rump state Ukraine, are indeed responsible for the mass killing. That's my translation from the Russian back into English. What is presented here as evidence sounds more like conspiracy theory. For example, ex-US President Barack Obama's meeting with British politicians and security officials at Downing Street 3 days before the terrorist attack. This is in the Russian government paper. Nezavisima Gazeta's editorial is about bringing back the death penalty. Since the concert hall attack, there's been a lot of talk in Russia, including in Parliament, about lifting the moratorium on capital punishment. A sensible pause is needed in this question. To what extent is the Russian justice system ready for such a transformation? After all, such a sentence requires undisputable proof of guilt. And then a reminder of history. In its recent past, our country has known executions. Just think about Stalin's shooting lists with tens of thousands of names. Later, the vast majority of these people were rehabilitated posthumously between 1956 and 58. The state admitted that people were killed because of the political situation. Is the system today protected against such a situation? If not, then at the same time as potentially bringing back the death penalty, we might think about creating commissions for rehabilitation.